Right, I don't want any of you lot on the wonk tonight. Ah! Evening, lovelies. Oh! I've been eating this. Well, it's Tuesday night, isn't it? How the devil are you? What sort of a day have you had? And that's question number one. Tell me about your day. Mine is obviously a bad hair one. It will soon be my birthday and time to shave my head. For those of you who don't know, I have a morbid fear of both the barbers and spending money, so I just shave my head completely bald once a year on or around my birthday. So, sorry, a bit of something went down the wrong way there. So yeah, I won't be looking like Ken Dodd on acid for all of that much longer. Well, how was Mustards? Tell me all about it. Tell me what was discussed. I was a bit later home than planned, so I haven't seen any of it. Excuse me. Something went down the wrong hole, as the actress said to the bishop. Yeah, so what's happening? Catch me up on the gossip. Let me know what the score is. And I will quickly whiz through and see if anybody's here. Or am I talking to myself? Which is fine. I'm perfectly happy to talk to myself. Not got a problem with that. It's something that is not entirely unknown for me to do anyway. And I quite enjoy pretending to be a politician and occasionally moving closer to the camera and lowering my voice and slowing my delivery to appear more serious, mature and sincere, which is all absolute hairy bollocks, as you know. Underscore is with us. Jimmy Quinn is with us. Trace is with us. Gilbert is with us. Hello. Gilbert Theophilus Toast Whacker. I like that very much, Monsieur Toast Whacker. I was quickly trying to translate toast whacker into French, and I was talking about this at work tonight at the restaurant. My language skills have got so bloody rusty. Because I don't use them anymore. It's ages since I've been to Malta, so I don't speak any Maltese. I never speak Italian anymore. I never get to speak French anymore. It's a long time since I've spoken Russian. And I don't speak Chinese anymore. And I'm forgetting everything. I can barely remember bloody English. And I'm forgetting all of that. Even the language of my birth. It's been so long since I had Welsh-speaking relatives or spent time in a Welsh-speaking village. I've bloody well forgotten everything. I'm like a typical Brit abroad now. The only way I can communicate with foreigners is to raise my voice slightly. And when they say, je ne sais pas, je ne comprends, you just say, sausage, egg, and chips. And you just keep saying it more loudly until the foreign person understands you. Anyway, where do I get to? Lurpak, still cracks me up that. Lurpak A380, dear me. Yeah, I'm totally up for a giggle tonight. Let's have a party. Weston's with us. Hello, matey. How you doing? Weston's real name is Joseph, but I don't know if he prefers the full Joseph or an abbreviation such as, well, Joe or Joey or whatever. Do let us know, Weston. We'd love to be on first name terms with you. Who else is here? Simon is here, and his day was like a Tuesday. Anybody else? Nurse Gladys Emmanuel, behave. She's dead right for mustard. He'd be all over that like a rash. What? I should rub it up. Underscore, don't forget to, yeah, oh, right. Oh, Bad Books is with us. Oh, and Mustard is with us. Hello, Mustard. How the devil are you, sir? Sorry I missed yours, mate. I didn't get back from work in a timely fashion. And you started earlier, and that's not my fault. That's entirely your fault, and I hold you entirely culpable and responsible for that change of timing. What did you talk about? I've asked them, but they haven't said. They're blathering on about other things and bits and pieces. You don't actually need to talk to them. Just have a conversation with yourself or scratch your ass or something, and they'll all entertain themselves. They're absolutely good as gold. They're like kids that are of that age where you can leave them in the pool room of the pub and you can go into the restaurant and have a meal, and you don't have to worry about them, and you won't be arrested by the police for neglect, as happened to a girl that I dated. But that's another story. Chef Daniel is with us. How wonderful. Pleasure to have your company, Chef Daniel. And let's have a little look-see. Oh, Simon's got a question. I'd like some questions tonight. Something I can really get my teeth into. Like a really nice waitress's buttocks. Like the waitress with the absolutely superb ass who worked at the casino in Malta. Now that was the kind of ass that you could sink your teeth into. In a, not overly enthusiastic, well, a jolly enthusiastic way, but not as if you were trying to bite part of the buttocks off. A sort of sincerely affectionate nibble. And those are the sort of questions I would like from you people tonight. I would like questions like a Maltese casino waitress's arse cheeks. Thank you so much. And yeah, I did have a question. Where was my question? I know I've got one. Oh, it's from Simon. Do you ever use your rev title to get a better table at a restaurant? No. Well, I haven't been to a restaurant forever. I can't remember the last time I went to a restaurant because, well, I've got this absolute hatred of eating food and spending money on food that I know I could cook better at home. So what restaurant am I going to go to? I'm not going to go to a pub because I can cook better than any pub grub that you care to name. And that includes those stupid gastro pubs. And okay, in the past I would have said I would go to a Chinese restaurant or an Indian restaurant, but I can cook that now as well. And I can cook it more authentically than the European palate items that they put on their menu. So what am I going to do? If I go out and eat, it's bloody McDonald's or a kebab on a Monday. And I don't think my reverend title would do much to get me a better table in a McDonald's. I say that, obviously my cooking is not of a Michelin standard, far from it. So in theory, I would happily go, as I used to very frequently, I would happily go to a Michelin starred restaurant, but I can't afford that. Because, as you know, my loves, we have no secrets from each other, do you? I've shared everything with you, and I've been happy to do so. And I think it's made us closer. It's tightened our little connection. So, as you know perfectly well, I had the dreadful misfortune to be taken poor, pretty much overnight. So Michelin-starred restaurants are a thing of the past. Until something happens again and I become wealthy, which Well, it might be kind of nice before I died. That was a long answer to a short question. No, I don't use my reverend title in order to get a better table in a restaurant. I do use it under certain circumstances. I'm old and I'm old school, and I'm not on board with this first name and mate shenanigans. So if I go into a situation where somebody I don't know addresses me by my first name, I kind of internally at least take umbrage at that, because I'm of a generation where if you don't know somebody, you call them Mr. and whatever their surname is. And if you're in a position where they are a client or a customer, sorry guys, that might happen tonight. There is a bit of weather blowing about here at Windy Bottom. I've been good. I've been a good boy. I've done all the things I was supposed to do. I've turned off the Wi-Fi on all of the other iDevices. But yeah, I mean, it's never great, the internet here, and when it's blowing an absolute gale and howling down with rain, I mean, it is bleeding biblical. That could happen, and it could happen again, and we're just going to have to be prepared for it and make the best of it. So if it happens again, go and make a cup of tea, or pop your bum out of the window and break wind, or go and have a cigarette, or tell your partner that you love them very much, or stroke the dog, or make a sandwich. I mean, you know, it's your choice. I can't tell you what to do. I can just give you suggestions and leave it up to you, your individual preferences and your imagination. Ooh. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, that thing where people call you by your first name instead of Sir or Mr. So-and-so. And being a reverend is jolly useful for that, because you can make them feel guilty. If you say, well, actually I prefer you to call me Mr. Parry Hughes or Sir, you sound like an absolute rattling arse. Whereas if you say, actually it's generally considered polite to address me by title, so Reverend or Your Reverence. And then they say, oh God, no, oh sorry, I didn't realise you were and that pleases me enormously. So I do use it for those sort of occasions. And I would like to thank you, not only on my own behalf, but on behalf of the community, for that splendid question, which has now been answered. And I will now look for some more questions in the hope of finding an absolute barnstormer. Weston's day was rather unremarkable. Trace popped into Mustard Stream just in time to hear him fart. What? What's this? Mustard farted in a live stream? Well, this is breaking new taboos. I mean, was it forced? Was it one that like crept out because his bottom has been under some considerable stress of late? Or was it an out, proud and loud, forced effort with some sort of pose? The sort of fart that would invite you to mark it out of 10. Or 2 scores of 5, 1 for content and 1 for artistic merit. I would like to know more about this fart, please. Tracy's day has also been uneventful, which is better than crap, she points out, so can't complain. Monsieur Toastwacker is as pink as a pistol. Simon cuts his own hair. It's not difficult, is it? Oh God, there's... no, don't, Boaty. You do a splendid job, Simon. It looks fabulous. We've done the Nurse Gladys Emmanuel. Did you do the SDSFM on mustard? Did anybody do it? And did he notice it? Did he mention it? Did he ask what it was all about? Lurpak toast racks have apparently entered the Hermes network. Weird name, sounds like herb. This thing that went down the wrong way is still making its presence felt, which is discombobulating me somewhat. I feel like an overworked porn actress. There's always a little tickle at the back of my throat that I prefer wasn't there for professional reasons. I can't speak French and I have no excuse to not practice. No, you don't. You should be ashamed of yourself. Project Nigel just put up 2023 plans video. Well, I shall certainly have a look at that. Joe or Joseph is fine, says, well, I was going to say says Weston, but I should really say says Joe. Let's be on friendly first name. Joe, it's a pleasure to meet you, mate. And for those of you who didn't know, Joe, aka Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, ladies, we're talking major OPWAP. Oh, what? Man, the guy is hot. And he's humble with it, which I think hot people who are humble about their heat, about their hotness, I think that exponentially increases their heterosity, whereas those who are a bit up themselves and kind of, they know their herosity, heterotificity, that to me notches them down the scale. But our Joe, he is a humble hottie. There's a feature for you, humble hotties. Let's have your doings. We talked about Mustard having the 10 bob bits. Oh dear. Oh, and Mustard says I can't even remember what I talked about. No, that's not old age, Simon. It's doing a live stream because you can't have dead air. Well, actually, with you lot, you could just sit here with your mouth shut and you'd all amuse yourselves. But you can't have dead air, so you just have to open your mouth, disengage your brain, and just allow stuff to come out. And you've got no idea what's going to come out. You've got very little idea what you're saying, and you've certainly got no memory of having said it. I don't know how many live streams that I've done, and I can't remember a single bloody word of any of them. In fact, when it comes to finishing the live stream and giving them a tittle, or title if you prefer, I prefer the pronunciation tittle. In fact, I enjoy pronouncing a lot of things, not incorrectly, because who are you to tell me the correct way to pronounce something? I pronounce them individually, as per my own choice. And I don't think that you, or anybody else, has got the right to tell me that I'm wrong, so wind your bloody necks in. There's another feature for you. What words do you purposely pronounce incorrectly, or have you mistakenly pronounced incorrectly? For example, ever since I was a child, I refuse to accept that the word burglar exists. I insist that there is a U in it and the word is actually burgular, and there damn well should be. But I'm sticking with tittle because, well, it's got tit in it, and that's just funny, isn't it? Anything with a tit in it is funny. And that's not a slight against women. Women are not automatically funny because they have a tit in them, or on them, or fitted about their person. Although some women are very funny indeed. And that leads me on to another feature that I've just thought of and will immediately forget. Who, in your opinion, is the funniest woman ever? I'd like to hear your answer to that. And I will finish my thought about tittles, which was that when I come to change the doings of the live stream, tricky chap's words, and turn them into what was a live stream and is now a normal video with adverts that earn me money. So when an advert comes on, leave that bloody knob alone. Go and make a cup of tea or fondle your own buttocks. And if you are going to fondle your own buttocks, lie on your arm first, and then you'll lose feeling in it, and you can fondle your buttocks and it feels like somebody else is doing it, because you can feel that you are being fondled, but you can't feel that you are the fondler. Don't ask me how I know that, but you might wish to remember that I am currently single and a crusty old bachelor, living alone in poverty and penury and in a damp old cottage in the arse end of nowhere. Now then, I'm going to move on from that. KKC is with us and apologises for being late, and I forgive you. Oh, that's something we should do, right? I'm a reverend, right? I can do confessionals, so I want to hear your confessions. Something that you've never told anybody that you feel guilty about. Get it off your chest. Confess to the Reverend Boaty, and I will absolve you of your sins. You might have to pay a small penance. And if it's like a really, really big sin, then I might call the police, unless it's amusing. But yeah, let's do that. Let's turn this into a regular thing. Confessions of a window cleaner, Robin Asquith. Yeah, but I would like to hear your confessions, please, and I will probably forgive you, or I might have a word with the chap upstairs and suggest that you roast in the eternal fires of damnation in perpetuity. Questions about buttocks. Simon, no, I don't think you understood the brief. I want questions that are as fabulous as that Maltese casino waitress's arse. And I'm telling you, that was a first class, top of the range, Gear X arse. I mean, it was, oh God. I mean, it was the kind of arse that would almost make you cry with the sheer joy of what beauty can exist in this world. And for that, of course, we have to thank the FSM, as we thank him for all things. And whilst on the subject, I hope that each and every one of you may one day be touched by his noodly appendage. Now then, let's see what you lot are rattling on about. You go to a restaurant most days. I do indeed, 6 days a week. Où est la douche is the only French I know when camping in France. I'm glad I've not been on holiday with you. We have an OPWAP, Tessa Sanderson. I know a dreamer. Oh, hello. Oh, God help us. What's going on here? Right, okay, this cannot be coincidence. Right, who are you? Are you somebody totally new, or have you just done a name change? Okay, I have a comment from somebody called Buccaneer _ Dreamliner. Oh God, it's one of you, Dreamliner. Dreamliner, it's the Boeing 787. It's oh bloody hell, it's another one of the Mr. Ben 747 and Lurpak A380. And oh, I mean, this is taking it to new heights. Are you all different people? Are you all the same person with the most the most insane but irresistible sense of humour? To explain, right, Buccaneer is the oh, excuse me. Buccaneer is the manufacturer of mine and Mustard's caravan that was very kindly kind of procured for us by Pingu Concord, who is some sort of relative or chum or member of the same cult as Mr. Ben 747. And those combinations of children's characters and airliners seem somehow to have morphed into, well, recently we had Lurpak A380, and now we've got bloody Buccaneer Dreamliner, who, to back up the Germanness of our Buccaneer caravan, says, I think he's made a mistake here. He says Gute Nacht, and isn't it Guten? Should it not be Guten, or have I got that wrong? But anyway, he says Guten Nacht, meine Boaty Liebchen, and Guten Nacht to you, my dear chap or lady chap or personage of. I mean, I don't know what. Dear me, oh, I'm so glad I do this, because little things like this make not just this worthwhile and not just the channel worthwhile, but they make my whole life worthwhile. That's what you people do. You make my life worthwhile. I wake up feeling perky and filled with joy, and that is partly because of you, and partly because I've probably just had a dream where I've done a bit of kinky spanking with a very attractive Chinese woman, or something of that nature. Some of my dreams since I've started getting old. Ooh, what? I should rub it up. But Buccaneer Dreamliner, I love that, and I love the German. I suppose that's how I could practice my my languages, isn't it? Every live stream I do, I could do in a different language. So I shall now continue in Italian. Video mare quanto bello spiritante sentimento alla specie del mando alla tonata. Ritorno a tutti gli anni sempre la stessa data. No, but not do that actually. Let me see. Oh, Simone is with us, or was with us. She came in hooked on classics, and I haven't done a channel shout out for a while for all of the channels that are part of our little community. So let's do that now before I forget, because I haven't shouted out Simone, but I'm gonna now. So let's do the big shout out. We'll start with the obvious one, but you all know and you are all subscribed. Project Nigel. Who else have we got? We've also got Simon and his channel, Project MGTF, which is well worth signing up to. We've got, of course, the lovely Rob and Beards and Bangers, and you have to sign up to that. You would be a fool not to. I also give a massive shout out to the Dan's Bangers channel. Not that he's a member of our community, he's never been here and probably will never come here. I've just got a weird thing about the Dan's Bangers channel, and I like to give him a shout out, so I'm shouting it out. But we will add to our little community list, we will add the Simone and the Hooked on Classics channel. So do check out Hooked on Classics. You can't miss it. There's a picture of a Mark III Cortina estate, whose name is TC. And if you're not subscribed, do hit that subscribe button, because Simone is now absolutely one of us. She's in the Facebook group, she's all over the live streams, she's a subscriber, as indeed I am to her channel. Yeah, she gets included in the shout outs now, so get yourself subscribed if you're not already. Really? Anyway, she's buggered off because she's got an early start in the morning. I would wish her good night and a good day at work tomorrow, but she's pissed off, so not much point really. Unless she watches it later on, at some point tomorrow, when she's home from work, fed the cats, done the washing up, and whatever else, and has got nothing better to do than watch this. but then I'd have to use the past tense. So have a good night, stroke, I hope you had a good night, and have a good day tomorrow, stroke, I hope you had a good day tomorrow. Right, I think we've dealt with that nicely, haven't we? Simon says, could you use your rev title to get a better lady at a lady house? I've no idea, Simon. I've never had a lady at a lady house. I've I've managed a lady house, and I had a relationship with an I had a relationship with a lady who earned her living from doing that sort of thing, but she didn't work in a lady house. She was a very exclusive, high-class escort who you couldn't hire by the hour. You had to hire her by the weekend, and you're talking well into 5 figures. And she would expect to be taken to the south of France. I think I've mentioned her before. I can't mention her name because that would be very indiscreet, because she comes from a very highly regarded, influential family who I think have actually got royal connections. Certainly very rich. Yeah, she was great. We had a lot of fun. And you know, it added an extra frisson to the doings when you have a go, and you think, well, that's 20 grand I've just saved, isn't it? Anyway, moving on. Perfectly cooked rump. Rump is what? Oh, that's in reply to a conversation I'm not part of. I'm not going to try and be part of your conversations. I'm going to leave you to crack on with your own conversations, and I will concentrate on mine. Because if I read out conversations that you're having with each other, it's absolutely bloody pointless, because you're having those conversations with each other. And there's no point. I might as well tell you about a waitress with a nice bottom or something equally interesting instead. Excuse me. KKC is going to Chongying Gardens in Worcester tomorrow. Good westernised Chinese food. I find USA Chinese very different to UK, as do I. Joe doesn't speak French, he just guesses familiar words. That can work. Buccaneer Dreamliner with a double underscore. That is double sexiness, that is, isn't it? Underscore. You've been trumped. Somebody's gone in with a double. Now that is a big pair of underscore balls, that is. How about Borbs? BOORBS. Buccaneer Dreamliner, meine kleine Freunde. You're going to have to educate me on that one. Borbs. But I'm not even going to guess, just tell me, but I bet it's hilarious. Just sweet, no, I'm not doing that. Do you use the reverend title for cheaper car insurance? Honestly, yes. I've only done Michelin restaurants when someone else is paying. That makes them especially nice. Frozen food. These are all conversations, I've got no idea what's going on. Excuse me. Right. We're explaining Borbs. Bosom on offer renders Boaty speechless. Right, yeah. Yeah, that could be a feature. Name women who've got chests that would scare the living daylight out of me. And I'm not joking about that, by the way. Anybody who's known me for a long time will tell you that they know perfectly well that I have a morbid fear of oversized chesticles. They terrify me and they intimidate me. What can I say? I'm with you, Boaty. I always wear a collar and tie, etc. when meeting a client for the first time. Sorry, that down the wrong way thing has still very much gone down the wrong way. And I bet you call them Mr. and Sir, don't you? Because I can tell that's the kind of chap that you are. A bit of old school respect, and I like that about you. And when we meet, I'm going to give you one Momo more than I would give to somebody whom I didn't hold in quite the same respect and even awe. Don't freeze your wine tonight, shouts Simon in capital letters. So that is a timely reminder for me to open the freezer. It's okay at the moment. It's very much not frozen. I'll tell you what, while I'm up, I might as well have half a puff. Be ashamed to waste all of that effort raising myself off my chair. Oh, what have you all eaten tonight? I've got a bit of a treat. I've got rajma, and rajma is foreign for kidney bean. So I have got garlic chicken and kidney bean curry, which I will have with steamed rice and bit of roti probably, and I haven't had this for a while and I'm looking forward to it, and it has got just the right amount of far too many chilies in it, but normal normal Nepalese finger chilies, not the stupid Carolina Reaper Naga things, but there we are. That was a very worthwhile canter over to the western wing of my kitchen diner, I suppose you'd call it. Would you call it a kitchen diner? That sounds like the sort of thing you'd have in an apartment, not a cottage. But it is a kind of, well, you've seen it, I've shown you around. You're not strangers to my humble little abode, are you? And you know perfectly well that the kitchen area is adjacent to the dining area, and there is no dividing wall. So I suppose you would call it a kitchen diner. Tittle. Sorry, I just wanted to say tittle because I enjoy it very much. Thank you. Would anybody like me to shout buttocks at them? I'm willing to do that. Just let me know. Let me know if that is something that you would enjoy, and I will personally shout buttocks directly at you. Now then, let's see. Right, I haven't frozen my wine. Trace says, Jesus, I can't pop my bum out of the window. I live 20 odd floors up. Why does living 20 odd floors up stop you from popping your bum out of the window? Don't get that. And it's blowing a gale out there. Again, how does that prevent you from sticking your bum out of the window? It just means you're going to get a bit of a blow dry. What's wrong with that? I do not accept your reasons, Trace, and I insist, unless you can come up with a better excuse, I insist that you stick your bum out of the window. Not now, because I want you to stick around with me, because I enjoy your company. But on your next live stream, I want you, for the pleasure and delectation and delight of your audience, to stick your bum out of the window live on camera, and then send me who's pinging me? For God's sake, I'm busy. And then send me a link to the video so that I can watch you sticking your bum out of the window and leave a comment. That would be a great thing for a live stream, wouldn't it? Sticking your bum out of the window. I'd love to do that. I might actually do that one of these days. Yeah. I can't imagine it's done too often, and it would kind of set me apart. And it would be the kind of tittle for a video that might make people watch it. A reverend minister of the church sticks his bum out of the window. I suppose you couldn't do it out of a church window, that would be disrespectful. But I don't think that the FSM, or your own deity of choice, would object to me or you or anybody poking their bum out of their own window. As long as it's a window facing out onto your own property. I mean, if it was facing out onto the street, your bum could cause offence, couldn't it? But if it's a window facing out onto your own garden, where's the harm? No harm, no foul. And I'm sure that any reasonable God worth their salt would not object to that. And if you popped up to heaven and they said, well, anything to declare, and you said, well, you know, on one occasion I poked a badger with a spoon, and on another occasion I shoved my bum out of the window, my own window, looking out onto my own garden, I think that deity or representative of the deity would say, that's absolutely fine. Come on in. Help yourself to a Mr. Kipling French fancy. And the bar is free, and it's over there. And if you head just over there, all of your pets that passed away and you cried a shit bucket load of tears over, they're all there waiting for you. That's a thought. If you went to heaven and all of your pets were waiting for you in a room, but there was also a free bar and a Mr. Kipling French fancy stand, what would you do first? Would you go straight to your pets, or would you get a French fancy and or a drink? And this is going to sound awful, but I reckon I'd get a drink first. And I'll tell you why I think I'd do that. I've had a lot of pets. I've always been a dog person, and I've had cats as well. And obviously fish and frogs currently, because I don't have a lifestyle that would support having a dog stroke cat stroke leopard type thing. But that would be a lot of pets that I would be reunited with, and that would take a long time, because and there's no way I'm going to want to be parted from them again. But I would also be bloody thirsty, I imagine, and possibly in shock. And when you think about it, I'd have gone through the trauma of dying in some way, shape or form, and then I've taken a spiritual journey up to heaven, and I've got to get my head around being dead, my head around the fact that there is an afterlife, and I've got to get emotionally on board with being reunited with all of my previous pets. Oh, and family, I suppose. Yeah, my mum and dad and brother and all of that sort of thing. You're going to want a drink before all of that. I would anyway. I'd want a double vodka and tonic just to like steady my nerve. Actually, I'd have two. I'd have a double vodka. If heaven had those split size, we used to call them splits when I ran pubs. If the bar in heaven had split size bottles of slimline tonic for me, I prefer slimline, then what I would do is I'd have a double vodka with ice, and I'd have a bit of the split size bottle of tonic, so that it was mixed 50-50 with the vodka. 50% vodka, 50% tonic. And I would neck that pretty much immediately, just to cope with the trauma of being dead and in the afterlife and about to meet all of my family, friends and pets and stuff. So yeah, I'd neck that. I'd ask, I wouldn't bother going to the French fancy store, I'd save that. But I would ask at the bar if they had any scampi fries, because if I've gone to heaven, I've gone through some sort of matter transference thing, and I believe that if you go through that sort of thing, it depletes the body of salt. So I'd want a salty snack, and salted peanuts would be the best thing, but I don't like them. So I would ask for some scampi fries to go with my double vodka and tonic, mixed 50-50, and then I'd have another double vodka, again with ice, and I'd have the rest of the tonic poured into that one, and having necked the first one, I would then take that one with me into the room with all of my family, friends and dogs and whatnot, so that periodically, while hugging them and stroking their heads and crying with joy, I imagine, I could periodically have a little drink, and then hopefully there would be some form of waiter who would be able to top it up, so that I wouldn't have to leave my family and friends in order to go back to the heavenly bar. Although, I suppose the member of family that you first hugged and cried with and did all of the stuff that you're going to do with, once you've done all of that, I suppose you could say, well, look, would you mind most awfully, now that, you know, we are fully reacquainted, and it's lovely to see you, Mum, and you look well, and I've really missed you all this time that I was down there and you were up here, but would you mind awfully popping to the bar and getting a round of drinks for all of us? And she would go round and take everybody's order and go to the bar, I imagine, and that would be a nice thing. And I'd probably have the French fancy. I'd probably have it after dinner as a sort of dessert thing, and I think I'd go for a yellow one. My second choice would be pink, and then the brown French fancy would be the French fancy of last resort. Now then, let's see what we're talking about. Don't freeze your wine, yeah, I've done that. Have you ever charmed the pants off a nun? Not literally, no. I have had, well, I spent time with nuns, and I like to think they found me charming. They certainly appeared to. But, I mean, what you're basically asking is, have I ever podgered a nun? And no, absolutely not. The worst of those who buy the title Lord of the Manor. I've come across a few of those. Yeah, I agree with you. Pingu Concord is with us. Hi, Boaty. Sorry I'm late. I fell asleep watching Mustard. I'm sure that's no comment on the vivacity of Mustard's live stream. I'm sure that you were just jolly tired. And what I want to know, Pingu Concord, is are you also Lurpak A380 and Buccaneer Dreamliner? Are they fevered imaginary friends of yours, or are they real people? And if they're real people, I want to come to a dinner party with all of you, because it would just be the best night ever. Joe asks Trace, how inconvenient is it that you can't pop your bum out of the window? I don't buy that. I don't see why she can't pop her bum out of the window. I see absolutely no reason for that not to happen. And I have insisted that it happens on one of her live streams. Oh, that's better. It was busier than I thought it was going to be tonight. That's why I was a bit late getting home. I expected it to be totally dead. And it so wasn't. Oh, we had a lovely table in. We had a table in of, I don't know how old they were, but they left school in 2018. And they were all girls. And they were all school friends. And, you overhear conversations of people in the restaurant. You overhear some brilliant arguments between husbands and wives. I love those. I've actually seen a wife knock out a husband, which was absolutely hilarious. She caught him with an absolute peach of a right hook. But anyway, we had this lovely table of school friends, and they've got like a group chat, and they're all doing their own thing now, and they meet up periodically apparently for a meal. And it so happened that tonight it was in our restaurant, and they were lovely. It was really nice to, I mean, you don't eavesdrop, you don't deliberately listen in, but equally you can't walk around with your fingers in your ear, or earplugs in. And it was just lovely listening to them, so that was really nice. And we had some other people too, and they were lovely. And we had lots of takeaway orders, and they were lovely as well. It's just been a night of lovely people now. And you have continued that by being A, people, and B, unutterably lovely. I'm very fond of you all. So, isn't the world a wonderful place? I am feeling a bit like that at the moment. I'm feeling that the world is a wonderful place, and I'm very excited about the year ahead. Which probably means, given that I have the sort of luck, which means that I fell into a bag of boobs, I'd come out sucking my thumb, it probably means that something will fall on my head tomorrow. Not in a like a life-ending way where I go up to the heavenly bar and contemplate the French fancies. More in an inconvenient way, like something wet falls on your head and dribbles down you. That sort of thing. But hopefully it won't. Hopefully this year, 2023, will be a lovely, fluffy year, full of joy and wonderful things for all of us. And some of them we'll do together. Not in a intimate way, well, a slightly intimate way, but not in a, not in a sort of poking your bum out of the window sort of way. How would I feel if I invited you people round here to Windy Bum and one of you poked your bum out of my window? I'm going to think about that. For the Reverend, you certainly blaspheme a lot, especially when driving in Derbyshire on a bank holiday. Yes, I do. Guilty as charged. I'm like a modern cool Reverend that you can hang out with. Mustard's fart, he actually leaned to one side, so I guess he was rather geared up and happy for it to pop out. Right, okay, and we have a hidden message. He farted that loud I thought he shit himself. That's, dear me, I don't know how I feel about that. I genuinely don't know how I feel about that. I mean, farting is funny under certain circumstances, but I've got ladies watching, and I could never, ever, ever break wind in front of a lady. It's not something that I'm physically capable of. Ladies have broken wind in front of me with some quite distressing results. Indeed, when Mel, my business partner, once broke wind in a Ford Escort in a multi-storey car park and refused to stop, I jumped out of a moving car in a multi-storey car park to escape her noxious fumes. But I could never break wind on a live stream. That's outrageous. I've probably done it on a video inadvertently, but I think that was probably before any ladies started watching me. I've got lots of ladies watching me now. Well, 3 of you anyway. 4 of you. No, hang on. Tracy, or Wigwam, as we now know her. Simone. That's it for the live, but on the video there's that nice lady from East Coast Resort. You know the one I'm thinking of. Not Skegness, but kind of down a bit from there. I went there and made a video about it, which is how she found my channel. So I've got at least 4 lady women type people. I'm very pleased about that. Have you got your toothache dealt with yet, asks Pingu Concord. No. I've still got a very loose tooth up here, but that's not causing me any problems at the moment. I think that's going to fall out quite soon, which is annoying in one sense because it's a perfectly good tooth. It's in tip-top condition. But it's not causing me any pain at the moment. So I think it's reached the stage of about to fall out, where it's kind of got no sense and no feeling. The nerve must be, I presume that the nerve atrophies, and that's part of the tooth falling out process. So that's not an issue at the moment, but I've had terrible toothache today on the other side, which is annoying. But that's more of a sensitive teeth kind of toothache, you know, when you have something really cold and it suddenly feels as if you've been smacked in the mouth by Mike Tyson. But there's something going on there. There's a bit of an infection going on or something there, because for about 3 or 4 days now I've kind of had a dull ache. I assume this is just the sort of thing that happens when you get old, and I don't know, I just put up with it and hope that it will go away soon. So yeah, I've struggled with that a bit over the last couple of days, but thank you for asking. And my teeth will cease to be a problem when I become wealthy again, because I'm straight off to Turkey or America or somewhere. I'm having them all yanked out and some beautiful, nice, brand new, shiny ones popped in. I'll never have to worry about it again, and I can look like Donald Trump. And while I'm there and I'm not waiting for the NHS, I can get this removed, and then I'll be, well, not handsome like I once almost was, but at least I won't be so gopingly ugly that I'm entirely undateable. You know, because I've kind of got used to the idea that, yeah, that's it, Chinese Madam was the last roll of the dice, and I'm now just going to be alone until I turn my face to the wall one night and cough it. But then occasionally I'll get this weird little spark of optimism that thinks, well, you know, maybe you could find a girlfriend stroke partner stroke wife type of thing. I mean, it would have to be somebody with incredibly low standards, obviously, but there must be people out there with incredibly low standards, because television is still a thing, and other low standard things still exist. So there must be people who are willing to put up with them. So maybe out there is a woman that would be willing to put up with me. Who knows? And if I went to America and beautified myself in various ways, I could get one, and that would be rather fun. He made my, oh, we're still talking about Mustard's fart. He made my phone vibrate in my hand with a fart. I still feel violated. I was holding the phone at the time. Monsieur Toastwacker says, Boaty, if you lit a fart, it would be like an H-bomb. A message retracted. Have you thought about doing late night radio phone-ins? You would be a natural. What, as in the host or the person that actually phones in? I have kind of done both, but not on a permanent basis. It's something I would love to do. And my favourite story about that is nothing to do with me at all. It's just that Peter Cook, in his dotage, shortly before he died, he used to amuse himself by ringing in to a local late night radio station, calling and playing different characters. And they didn't find out that it was Peter Cook until after he died. But the transcripts are available in a book that an ex-girlfriend bought for me. Well, she didn't buy it when she was my ex-girlfriend. She bought it when she was my girlfriend. Newcastle. She was fun. Oh, I wish I was still in touch with Newcastle. She's one of the ex-girlfriends that I wish I was still friends with, because like a lot of my other girlfriends or partners or wives, I liked them as people. And the fact that our romantic relationship didn't work out doesn't mean that I don't still miss them as friends. And Newcastle was a hoot. God, you would have loved her. She would be amazing on YouTube. And she bought me a book called Tragically, I Was an Only Twin, which was a book about all of the lesser known stuff of Peter Cook. And she bought it for me because she thought that Peter Cook and I were twins separated at birth, or brothers, or kindred spirits or something, and that's how I know about that. But I would love to do a late night radio phone in, either as somebody ringing in or somebody hosting it. And I guess that this is kind of the equivalent of that. Except instead of ringing in, you ping your comments up here. But there we are. Hot and humble here too, says Trace. Agreed. Joe looks like a catcher's mitt with a beard. Boaty, have you thought about selling your hair on eBay when you cut it off? No, I really haven't. Is that a thing? Alternative word pronunciation, says Tracy. Yes, my family do this and has done forever. And then she goes on to not give any examples of that whatsoever. Underscore says, I pronounce unpaid as paid. Oh, and Mike is with us, or was with us, because I don't know how far behind I am on comments. I'll catch up on comments. It's been an hour now, and it's time I caught up. But Mike is with us, Classic Wheels Wales. Oh, and that's another channel shout out. If you're not subscribed to Classic Wheels Wales, I do apologise. I couldn't be more sorry. Dear me. If you're not subscribed to Mike's channel, which is Classic Wheels Wales, get your bum over there and subscribe, because he also is one of us. Funniest woman, hang on, I like saying mouses and heis. Oh, that's Wigwam. Hello, Wigwam. I didn't know you were with us, my lovely. How are you? How was work today? Funniest woman has to be Victoria Wood, and Monsieur Toastwacker agrees. Another vote for Victoria Wood. Joe says funniest woman ever, Betty White. And I loved Betty White. Well, the only thing I really knew Betty White in was Golden Girls. But when she sadly passed away, some more stuff came up. And people speaking about it, and she sounded like, yeah, she was a really, really funny woman. Funny woman, Liz Truss. I think we meant funny ha-ha rather than funny peculiar. Although she is a bit funny ha-ha as well, but in a laughing at her way, rather than a laughing with her. Oh, Trace does give us some examples of mispronounced words. Trifle, syrup, spoongy desert, bath instead of bath, and mungry, I'm hungry. Sooty Spitfire has joined us. What's occurring, boaty mate? In it, bruv. Is you chatting pure breeze, bruv? Is you? Funniest woman ever, Alice off Vicar of Dibley. Do you mean the character or the actress? Oh, confessions. I feel guilty about everything, so I'm not playing. I killed an NPC on GTA earlier. I'm still upset. I don't know what any of that means, but don't feel guilty. If it's a video game thing, you're automatically forgiven. Let's have a debate. Apparently potato cakes are not sold in West Yorkshire. Are they not sold anywhere else? I don't know what a potato cake is, so I can't help with that, but do feel free to pile in. STSFM, Hattie Jakes. Have I misremembered STSFM? Because, and if I remembered it correctly, then Hattie Jakes would be the total opposite of an STSFM. Somebody remind me, because I'm pretty sure that you've all got the wrong end of the arse. Excuse me. Boaty, have you ever been into an estate agent's for a drink? They make proper tea. I've been into an estate agent's, but I would not have tea. I don't drink the stuff. I find Natalie Pinkham extremely amusing. What do you think, Boaty? I've got no idea who she is. Joe lets us know that nothing is sold in his kitchen. Oh, and a super thing from Mike. I don't know what kind of super thing it is, but it's all big and green and wonderful. And thank you, Mike, very much appreciated. It's a super chat or a super sticker or well, it's something bloody super anyway, and I'm really, really grateful. Haven't had one for a while. So thank you, Mike. Thank you very much indeed. I'm sticking with underscore now. I've even designed a tattoo for it. I think we need to see that underscore. Mustard says, I farted in your bathroom. Well, that's TMI. I'm going to feel differently about my bathroom now. Could you not have kept that to yourself? And by that, I mean both the fart and sharing the fact of the fart with me. I suppose there has to be a natural assumption that if you permit somebody to use your bathroom, somewhere subconsciously deep down, you have to know that they're going to fart and possibly do worse. And you just have to not think about it. But if that's your duty, then I think the person who farted has a moral duty not to alert you to the fact that they farted. Yeah, I do. I actually feel slightly violated. Although I'm pretty sure I've broken wind in Mustard's lockup. So that kind of makes it on as equal. So I take back my sense of violation. And I think that Mustard and I, Mustard is my BFF, my best flipping friend. So if he and I are not on farting terms, then who is? Oh, but rule, Mustard, listen, I hope you haven't gone to bed yet. No farting in the caravan, and that applies to both of us. That is too small a space for unfettered farting, all right? Bum out of the door, right? Deal? I've shaken your hand virtually. That was quite that wasn't a very manly handshake, was it? Hang on. There, right. No farting in the caravan, please. And thank you again, Mike. I really, really, really appreciate that. Because God knows, you wouldn't make your fortune off the bloody advertising revenue on YouTube, would you? I mean, I know I'm only brand new to it and everything, and not had that many videos up, but Christ almighty, I mean, literally your income is measured in single pennies, blood and sands. But, you know, I was getting nothing before, so how can I complain? I can't, can I? Although I just have, but I shouldn't, and I'm sorry. That's my confession. The caravan will smell like something out of the sewers with YouTube farting in it. Right, I've just dealt with that. There will be no farting in that caravan. Has anyone subscribed to Cortina City who owned TC before Simone? Dunno, I haven't. Oh, I'm sorry, I laughed. We had a cat called TC. Unfortunately, the next door neighbour ran him over in a Robin Reliant bastard. I'm really sorry. If you found yourself stranded in the middle of nowhere and faced the prospect of perishing without being found, would you worry that you'd left the oven on? No, not in the least. Only a reverend could drive a Rover. Relax, Reverend, it's a potato-enhanced Rover. My era, I would love one, but they're stupid money. I've got no idea what we're talking about now. Boaty, you can't beat a big pair of mild and bitter. In my book, you can. I can't be doing with big pairs of milds and bitters. Oh, tea tonight, in a hurry, so we had oven-ready processed rubbish. That makes a change for you. You normally have something off a Michelin-starred menu. I think you should do a whole video of various buttocks shouting. You just know I'm going to do that now, don't you? I did do a video of shouting buttocks. I did, didn't I? I remember. And I shouted buttocks at one person in particular. Was it you? Was it you, Trace? I think it was, wasn't it? And I can even remember where I shouted buttocks at you. It was in Hadfield, in that stretch by the speed cameras. Tea tonight was barbecue ribs and barbecue chicken. Lovely. Some of my clients who have become friends run an auction house in Cheshire. You're talking 40 grand for a decent Mark 1 Escort. Stupid money, yeah? To stick my bum out of the window, says Trace, I would have to stand on the windowsill, and the thought gives me the collywobbles being so high up. You're not going to fall out, Trace. Bloody hell. Just give it a go. Conquer your fear. You'll feel better for it. As a reverend, boats, says KKC. As a reverend, do you go to church every Sunday? You must have to attend a few to keep up your membership. Well, no, I don't, because my church does not have churches in the sense of buildings. Churches tend to be the most expensive and incredibly over-the-top buildings in any given constituency, or another word beginning with C that I can't remember, community. And we don't think that's right. In fact, our God has told us specifically in the 8 condiments, also known as the 8 I'd really rather you didn't, and he has specifically told us that I'd really rather you didn't spend a shitload of money on some incredible building as an act of worship or tribute to me, because quite honestly, I don't need it. I haven't got that fragile an ego, and I'd rather you spent the money in better ways, helping people who, need and deserve to be helped. So that's what we do. We don't have actual buildings because that would cost money that could be spent better elsewhere. And whilst we're on the subject, no member of our church draws a stipend or a wage for being a church official. There is any money that comes into our church, every single penny of it goes out to help people. And we don't need a building. We have our own buildings. They're called houses. And we can worship the FSM and act according to his word wherever we are. We don't need a specific building. So no, I don't go to church on a Sunday. I don't go to church at any point, and neither do I observe my religion only or particularly on a Sunday. My God is with me always, and his words are with me always, and I always have him at the back of the mind when I decide what I'm going to do at any particular time. Pets first, says Wigwam. That's back to the heaven thing. Collywobbles, I learned a new word today. Oh, Wigwam, you just made me giggle. Straight to the pets. They're still talking about Mustard's fart. Simon, I nipped away for a couple of minutes and I've no idea what I've come back to. Right, let's whiz through these comments. Does anyone else find themselves, this is Joe asking the question, does anyone else find themselves hypnotised by Boaty's streams of consciousness? Or is it because I'm a yank and don't quite understand it all? You're not alone, says Trace. And Simon says, I think we're all feeling that way today. We can say what we like now, it does not get involved in conversations. Yeah, my streams of consciousness. I get kind of sucked into them. I don't know how they go over with you guys. I don't know if you get sucked in and live them along with me, or whether you just kind of mentally turn off and think, oh Christ, Boaty's gone off on one again. I'd like to know though. Simon asks, how is the cupboard of car cleaning stuff doing? I think you mean Bob, the inexpertly constructed palace of motory delight. And he's been entirely and totally neglected because I haven't cleaned a car for ages and ages and ages since it got too cold. I've hosed them off because obviously there's a lot of salt around that I don't want getting on stuff. But I haven't opened Bob for, oh God, ages. Joe again. This is one of the most fascinating chats I've ever been in, and that's coming from a guy who investigates Bigfoot. That's saying something. Not sure what, but it says something. It certainly does. Is that a vase or a tall glass? Asked Simon. This is a vase. And I haven't had flowers for ages because nobody buys me any, and I haven't bought myself any for a while. Somebody has asked Joe, are you here investigating if Boaty is actually Bigfoot? That's quite funny. We already confirmed on Project Nigel stream that 2023 is the year of the beard. Not in this house, matey. We have potato cakes in our local Asda. Didn't you follow through on Mustard's Bog? I'll let you into a secret, Monsieur Toastwacker. I have never been on Mustard's Bog. I've had a wee, but I've never actually sat on it. Well, I have sat on it, but I've never sat on it with my bottom bared. And the video I made of Mustard's Bog was entirely fake and done with sound effects. I was filming with my phone, and I had an iPad down in between my legs, and that had a soundtrack of all of the sound effects that you heard. It was entirely fake. I suffer from strange toilet syndrome. I do not bear my buttocks to a strange toilet, especially Mustard's, which is frankly scary. I'm happy to say that no investigation is needed on that, says Joe, talking about whether I am in fact Bigfoot. Quite obvious that he is not one. However, he could be a yowie. He is rather tall, I guess. What on earth is a yowie? But yeah, I am quite tall, I guess, 6'5". The great thing about having pets, says Wigwam, is you can blame them. Absolutely. Talk to us about car insurance, Boaty. No, and especially not after today. I've had Lancaster ringing me every 10 minutes and sending me text saying, hey, we just tried to ring you. And every time you answer the phone goes dead. And I get a text saying, hey, why not ring us back? You ring them back and the phone just goes dead. So either they've got problems with their phone lines, or they've blocked my number and the agent doesn't realise it. But they've blocked me and my number after I ranted and tagged them in a Facebook post on my Facebook page where I pointed out how fucking awful they are. Now then, is it still Tuesday? I'm having trouble with days of late. Yes, it is. Feels like Thursday, but it's Tuesday. Wait, no, it's Wednesday. It's definitely Tuesday. Oh, it is Wednesday. You should get an OPWAP. I don't want an OPWAP. I would like... I wouldn't want to go stupidly young again like I did with Chinese Madam. She was too young. I would like a nice lady in her 40s. Lurpak A380. Lurpak A380. Send a selection of your videos to a few stations. That's talking about the radio thing. Yeah, maybe I should. Get your racks out. What are the lesser known roof racks? My toast rack still hasn't been posted yet. Work was okay, no meetings. Oh, the Ken Joj or Joji. 20 of us. Oh, is that the number of people watching? That's not bad, considering that a load of you did a full 2-hour stint of Mustard. I'll take 20 people. Too skinny for Mustard. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was too skinny for Mustard. But then people have said the Vicar of Dibley and bloody Hattie Jakes, and they're not too skinny for Mustard. So either they've got the wrong end of the stick or we have, Simon. What else did Mustard do in your bathroom? I don't want to think about that. Oh, a confession. I was pretending to be two people on a dating site once, involved in a conversation with a man who told me it was far too fast and naughty who told me it was far too fast and naughty me, he was up for it. Um, and I knew him. Mm. Bad books. Has Boaty got a stash of old stock? Has Boaty got a stash of old stock Lurpak toast racks, like his cycling gloves? And is he flogging them off on eBay? No, not guilty. Uh, I should try and get rid of some of the gloves though, shouldn't I, by pushing them on here? Do any of you ride a bike? Do you want to buy any new old stock cycling gloves? Um, oh dear. Um, yes, it was you that I shouted buttocks that race. I thought it was. Churches are lovely looking things, but it's weird that they keep so much money to keep nice. I know. Let me see. I love old churches full of history, ghosts and vapours of communities past. They're where all life events happened. New, renovated, modernised churches have had their souls ripped from them. Actually, I agree with that. I do love an old church. There's a chapel, Wigwam. You might know this. I can't remember the name of it, but I will go back and find out and tell you about it in the next live stream. Because there is a chapel in the middle of nowhere in mid Wales, and we must all go there. We should have a meet up there. It's fantastic. And I've got it on my Facebook somewhere so I can search it. If anybody knows what it is, tell me now. But it's a chapel. It's in the middle of nowhere. I don't mean it's in a small village. I mean it is just a chapel in mid Wales on its own in the middle of nowhere. Quite well known. And we should have a meet up there, or we should have a drive to it. I love that idea. Add that to the list of things we'll do this year. If anybody knows it, whack it in the comments. If not, I'll find out. Never heard of strange toilet syndrome. Don't forget to hit the like button. Boaty, I think you should do a nightly show. I'd love to. Don't freeze your wine. Oh, good point. Slightly too slim for mustard. Yeah. That I knew it was that. I knew I wasn't going mad. Yeah, so what's with all of the Hattie Jake stuff? They're not slightly too slim for mustard. Or are you being ironic by coming out with those? Yeah. Maybe you're being ironic. I hadn't considered that possibility. Slightly too slim for mustard. Oh, we do come up with some shenanigans on here, don't we? Oh, you gotta love it. I'd love to do a nightly show. I have to stop myself from doing a nightly live stream. It's so much fun. And I love the fact that you guys all chat amongst yourselves as well. It's like a real thriving community thing, and I think that's fabulous. I have done a sort of deal whereby I have committed in some way, shape or form. I'm not sure how it's going to work yet because it's difficult to explain the restaurant thing and the relationship that I've got. And it kind of works on two levels. I work in the restaurant. Well, actually, it works on three levels. I work in the restaurant doing all of the basic stuff in the restaurant. So I run the pass. I pack takeaway orders. I do deliveries. I work front of house. I take telephone orders. I work the bar, all of those sort of things. I do the food, all of that, and that's kind of on one level. Then on another level, I I do some of their social media and PR stuff and customer liaison stuff. And that's kind of done on just friends helping out friends basis. And then on a third level with the big boss, for whatever reason, I'm the one person that he confides in and trusts. So I know everything that's going on with the whole company structure across the full range, both here in the UK and in Nepal and in other countries. And I've kind of committed to the organisation and the family or whatever in some way for the rest of my working life. And I'm not sure how that's going to be, but over the space of the next year or however long it takes, then I will take up a more formal position somewhere in the upper echelons, and in terms of actual overall management. I won't let it interfere with this though. This is sacrosanct. But it does mean, that kind of means that it's taken the pressure off about wondering what I'm going to do to keep myself alive in terms of the basics, just about keeping a roof over your head and keeping food on the table. Because it's a very informal arrangement that we've got at the moment, and they love me, I love them. Some of the stuff that I do there, I get paid for in the normal way, but when you're just working basic in the kitchen, then you're just a minimum wage employee, and a part-time minimum wage employee at that. The other stuff I do is on an informal basis, but if and when I ask them for anything, then they give it me without hesitation or question. So if I were to say to them, I don't, but if I were to say to them, I don't know, I need £5,000, they would give me £5,000. No, I never do that. All I ask for is some food ingredients, and to be honest, I don't ask for that. I just, we have an understanding. Anything that's within any of the places or whatever's restaurants or anything that comes under any form of the overall umbrella is kind of mine. So I don't even ask, I just take it. But it is a more informal thing, and that's going to become a more formal thing, which means that I don't have to worry so much about keeping a roof over my head, which means that I don't have to worry about YouTube paying me a decent living at any point in the future, which means that what I care about with YouTube more than anything else now are two things: having fun and working on building the community, or continuing to build the community. And that's what it's all about for me now. If my subscriber numbers go up, great, lovely, I'll be chuffed, of course I will. And if my views go up, wonderful, I'll be massively chuffed. And if my income increases, again, absolutely brilliant. But it's not the be all and end all. If it never gets to any more than it is now, I'm cool with that, because I'm meeting amazing people. I have a hell of a lot of fun. It brings a lot of pleasure into my life, and I'm sure that this next year is going to be fabulous. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. Don't know why. But it's kind of a nice thing. And that's partly why I'm feeling that the world is such a nice place at the moment. And I really am looking forward to the year ahead. Okay, I mean, look on the bright side, right? at the moment, obviously, cost of living crisis, and obviously heating costs and whatnot are going through the roof. But we're surviving, aren't we? Or I am anyway. Okay, I've had to sell a car, but I haven't starved to death, and I haven't frozen to death. And at the moment, I've got food. I've got a lovely supper to have tonight. I'm making soup tomorrow for lunch. That's going to be wonderful, and I've got some fresh French bread to have with that. And the cottage is warm, so it's all good. Okay, might have had to cut back on other things, but survived. So come spring, you think about it, there's going to be, I don't know how much you guys pay, but I'm paying about £70 a week on gas alone. My central heating is gas. So come spring, assuming that we, or I, carry on living the same way, we're going to have 70 quid a week extra that we've got used to being without. So effectively it's going to be extra. And with 70 quid a week, that's a proper day out, isn't it? I mean, that's enough petrol to go somewhere nice and have a spot of lunch. So that means that once a week, we can have a day out from spring all the way through until it starts getting cold again. And we have to start spending that 70 quid a week on doings. Anyway. Oh, more comments. Don't freeze your wine, taking care of that. Slightly done that. I have a bike, says Simon, with some definition. Does anyone want to buy it and some clubs? Still on the curvy side. Oh, hang on, what's that about? Oh, sorry, Lurpak A380. Right, okay. So when you said slightly too slim for mustard, oh, I see, right, I understand. Okay, I think. So you're saying that the feature is slightly too slim for mustard, but still on the curvy side. Okay, I think I'm on board with that Lurpak A380. Lurpak A380. Maybe I should do a wine review. The problem is I've got incredibly narrow tastes in wine, so I'll just be reviewing. Well, I could tell you if a wine was good according to me and my taste, but that would rely on you having the same taste as me, and I like a sharp, crisp, dry white. So I mean, if you gave me a dessert wine to try, like a bloody Sauterne or something dreadful, I'd just spit it out. Even a Sauvignon Blanc is pushing it a bit. I have got a really nice bottle of wine that my neighbour gave me when I filmed and spotted somebody whacking his car, and they managed to get on them and get the insurance. That's a really, really nice bottle of Premier Cru Chablis that I might have on my birthday, and I'll review that for you. Reviewing this stuff, this is, what is this? Oh, this is Sainsbury's House dry white wine. And the best thing I can tell you about this is, well, the most important thing, it's £4.50 a bottle, my loves. And if you freeze the bejesus out of it, it goes down okay. And a bottle of it will get you there. So there you go, that's my review of that. It's £4.50 for a bottle. Stick it in the freezer, get it down you, and it'll get you there. You'll sleep well. But I will review some nice ones. Oh, wigwams, thank you. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That is the one. That is the one. Well done. Have you been there? Have you been there, my lovely? I bet you have, haven't you? But wouldn't it be fantastic? How are we pronouncing that? Is it Saudi Monies? Is that right? You tell me. Because I've forgotten. I think that's it. But it's the most fabulous place, and we should all go on a drive there. James Wilson says, I've got to say the best place in Wales has to be Llandudno. It's a wonderful place. Well, I agree with you. I agree with you there, James. I love Llandudno. It's always been a very special place to me and one of my happy places. I went there on my honeymoon. Not all of my honeymoon. My honeymoon, we had the first night we got married very near here actually. We got married at Fishers of Baslow, which was the only Michelin-starred places in Derbyshire. And I've driven past it loads of times with you guys and pointed to that. So I got married there. We had the first night in Baslow, second night at a cottage in Wales, then we went to Lake Vyrnwy, and then we ended up in Llandudno in this amazing hotel that cost me the national debt of Korea, but it was totally worth it. I adore Llandudno. I love the Great Orme, I love the trams, I love the cable cars. I love Marine Drive. I love the pier. I love everything about Llandudno. So you and I, we're singing from the same hymn sheet there. Lurpak A380 says, lovely Boaty, can you let us pupils of Boaty World know a postal address / PO box we can send you birthday presents to? Yeah, absolutely. How very, very kind of you. I can't remember when I last had a birthday present. It would be, oh God. Last birthday present would probably have been when I was with Boo. So it's probably about 6 years since I've had a birthday present. So what a lovely thought. Thank you so much. Hang on. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't got a PO box, but I've got no problem giving you my address because anybody who lives locally has worked out where I live anyway. It's not like I try to hide it. A lot of YouTubers, they've got families, so it's entirely natural that they would not film around their home, and Hubnut used to be very, very private about where he lived. Although, again, it was very obvious to work out because he lived next door to the Vale of Rydal Railway. And you could work it out, and people rocked up at his place and he didn't like that. I know for a fact that people have worked out where I live. When Craig came here to fix a car, I didn't tell him where I lived. He just knew, and he'd never been here. He just knew from the videos. And I know from people I've met at the Project Nigel meet or just at the yard, I know there are people who know exactly where I live and have driven past or have driven properly past down my lane to have a look at the cars and whatnot. And I'm cool with that. I haven't got any family. I live here on my own. You're all lovely people. I don't think any of you are going to try and murder me or molest me in any way. My address is you know my name, don't you? Certainly anybody who's friends on Facebook, you don't really need my name and money. You only need the address, don't you? It's number 3, bottom row, Wad Shelf, and the postcode is Sierra 427 Bravo uniform. And if you want to stick the actual name of the cottage on there as well as the number, it's Windy Bottom, which is 3 bottom row, Wad Shelf. And if any of you come round and molest or murder me now, then shame on you. Shame on you. So there we are. That's a lovely thought. Thank you very much indeed. I made a New Year resolution: keep breathing. Joe has been called away. He's probably gone by now. Being called away, folks. Have a good night. Boaty is definitely not a Bigfoot. Official findings. There you go, folks. You heard it here first. It's official. I am not Bigfoot. We need to get involved in this Bigfoot thing. It needs to be a group thing, like the Toast Rex. I don't know how we can get involved, but Joe is a lovely guy. We're friends on Facebook now, and he puts videos on Facebook. I don't know. I've not looked at his YouTube channel yet to see if there's videos on there. But I assume he's got videos on his YouTube channel. So we should all subscribe to his YouTube channel. I'll give it a proper shout out next time. But he puts videos on his Facebook, and they're great. He's a really personable, interesting guy. So we need to get on board with it in some way, shape, or form. Went to Llandudno a few times, some in my 75 and some other times in the 45. Right. James, I've got a question for you, mate. You took that wooden steering wheel out of the 45, right? What are you doing with it? Are you planning to put it in another car, or would it potentially be for sale, and could it be reunited with the 45? And was it original fitment in the 45, or was it something that you or your granddad or somebody else added? If it was original fitment, and you were willing to part with it, you didn't have a purpose for it, I'd love to get it back on the car, assuming I'm able to buy it. Okay. Where is the white wine from? Country? What? This one? I haven't got a bloody clue, to be honest with you. I mean, my normal choice, if I'm spending money, I would always go French. I'm a sucker for a Chablis Premier Cru. Oh, excuse me. Oh, this one is, that's New World, isn't it? Western Cape. So that's a New World wine, isn't it? I think. Western Cape is, oh God, I'm going to show my ignorance now. I want to say that's South Africa, rather than Australia. Somebody educate me. But I think it's a New World one. Left to my own devices, I would always go French. There were a number of French wines that I could get properly orgasmic about. I learned a little about some Spanish ones when I was spending time in the Basque Country, and some of the southern Italian and Sicilian wines are quite palatable, and actually some of the new Maltese wines, or relatively new, some of those are really quite good, but they're very, very similar for obvious reasons to the Sicilian. Yeah, there we are. The A55 is like a scenic motorway. I can either go M6, M56, M53, or to Liverpool through the Mersey Tunnel and then on the 53. Then the 55. I agree, the A55 is absolutely gorgeous. Don't go on a bank holiday, but yeah, it's a beautiful drive down to Llandudno. And there are lots of interesting places along the way. Talaka Beach, or Talaka, however you pronounce it. I'm going to be taking the caravan there. I adore that place. I've got childhood memories around Rhyl and Prestatyn and Tywyn. There's Colwyn Bay, of course. And I'll tell you where I haven't been, but I must go. Barmouth. I really must go to Barmouth. I desperately want to take that railway journey. I think it's the Cambrian line that runs down the coast across that amazing bridge at Barmouth across the sea, and I think it runs down to Aberystwyth. But Barmouth looks fabulous, and I really must go there. It's a little bit of a stretch to do in one day, which is probably why I haven't done it. But I could definitely take the caravan there and have an overnighter. Or if any of you guys, if you're ever at a loose end on a Monday come spring, and you fancy just having a nice drive somewhere, we can either jump in the car together or go in separate cars if a few of you wanted to come. And we just have a drive to somewhere nice in Wales, be it Barmouth, Llandudno, whatever. And we could just hole up at a cheap hotel and get drunk and eat. I would be totally up for that with you guys, if any of you would fancy it. The only problem is, that's the kind of thing that you guys probably do at weekends, and I don't get weekends. I only get Monday and Monday night, and I've got to be back at the restaurant on Tuesday night. But I would totally be up for that. I'd love to do it. I want to go to Portmeirion. I've never been, but I would go back to Llandudno. Marine Drive is lovely. I remember going on the bus with my grandma. I wanted to go around in my 75, but it's rather expensive to go down there now. Yeah. There are two ways up the Great Orme. Well, if you're driving, there are two. There's one way up the Great Orme if you're driving. Alternative to that, you can get the bus goes the same way, or you can go up on the tram, which is amazing, or you can go up on the cable car, or you can walk up. But there are actually two ways down, because you can come down the steep way, the quick way, which is the way you would have gone up, or you can come down Marine Drive, which goes right around the headland and is one way, but it's also a toll road. And Marine Drive will drop you down by Happy Valley and by the what's the name of the big hotel by the pier? Is it the Grand Hotel or the Imperial? It's bloody fallen on hard times. Anyway, it's still not cheap, and apparently I've never stayed there. I would love to, but if you read the reviews, it's like it's really run down. But just because of where it is and the history, it's somewhere I'd like to spend at least one night. And I think it has balconies, and I have to have a hotel. Well, I prefer a hotel with a balcony. Anyway, there we are. Let's see. Living in Norfolk, it's 2 hours from any motorway. Oh, do you live in Norfolk, Jimmy Quinn? I don't know where a lot of you live. I'd like to know this sort of thing. Did you name it Windy Bottom? Yeah, I did. It's the only cottage here in the row that didn't have a name, and I thought it needed a name. And this little bit of lane, and literally only this bit, if you go beyond the cottages, it becomes main road. And just this tiny little bit of lane, literally the bit the cottages are on, it's called Bottom Row. And I think I asked my Facebook pals when I moved here, because no, that's another story, that'll go on too long and it's almost time to finish. I asked about names. I did name it Windy Bottom because of Bottom Road, because it's always blowing a bloody gale up here, and it just seemed appropriate. Obviously everybody equates the name with my own Windy Bottom, which is not quite as bad as you might have been led to believe by various videos and whatnot. Hidden comment. Oh, okay. Oh dear. It's another of underscores jokes. I'm not a murderer, but hide the Weetabix, I'm a serial killer. You'll be out of luck here, mate. I don't do milk. I don't do dairy, with the exception of a bit of butter. So no cereal here and no milk here. Let's see. Oh, Chaz Brown. That's a new name. I don't remember seeing you before. Welcome. Another message health review. Oh, right, okay. Steering wheel. I don't think it was fitted originally. I think it was a Rover 400 steering wheel. It was on when we got it. I did put it up on Facebook Marketplace, but got messed around, wanted to keep it for memories. That's fair enough. That's totally fair enough, James. Completely understand that. If you were willing to part with it on the basis that it would be reunited with the car, then give me a shout and I'll try and work something out with you, because genuinely, I'm serious. I really want to try and find a way to own that car. It would fit in perfectly to the collection, because it would mean that I then had pre and post facelift models of the 25, 45 and 75, and there'd be that little bit different. So the 75s, I've got the 75 and the ZT. The 45, I'd have the saloon and the hatch, and then the 25, I've got the CVT and the GSI. But I just loved the car. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it there at Nigel's. And I actually think I said on a video I would love to own that car. If it wasn't on a video, then it was to myself. I'm sorry you parted with it. I know how much it meant to you. I started a dating website for chickens. It's not my regular day job. I just do it to make hens meat. Oh dear me. Baboon Tish, I'm here all night, folks. Monsieur Toastracker is off and says Toodle Pip. James says, I took it off initially. I thought it would sadly be ended up for breaking, but my mate said to me, keep it for memories of your granddad. So I took him out a lot in it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Simon says, yay, road trips. We'll totally do that. And you can book time off, can't you? You could do a Monday night. What media did you work for as a car journalist? Oh, that's a question to answer when we've got a little bit more time. I was effectively freelance, but we had our own magazine, and I launched our first website in 1995. So obviously my stuff went on there, but I did do freelance stuff for some others. How much and what do you drink an average day? 2 cups of coffee in the morning, 1 or 2 glasses of Rimto at lunch, and a bottle of wine at night. Simples. Us self-employed can do mad things not on weekends. I prefer weekdays because not many kids, or yeah, totally Trace. Me too. So yeah, I may well take you up on the idea of Barmouth getting drunk in a hotel. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have a mad Monday night where we go for a nice drive, hole up at some cheap, awful hotel and get evilly drunk and have some nice food and a good laugh. Would you be up for doing a calendar photo shoot with Mustard? Maybe posing with a selection of Rover parts available from P&HQ, clothing optional. Mustard is interested but may need boaty backup. God, I don't know. And then Lurpak A380 says, one for us ladies. I didn't know you were a lady. I thought you might be Mr. Ben 747 or Pingu Concorde or both. I didn't realise that you were a female lady person, woman type lady chap. And that's wonderful, because that's working towards making the dynamic a little bit. Gosh, so that's about, well, that's 4 lady women peeps I've got on the regulars on the lives. So that's wonderful. I'm up for anything. Well, no, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. But a calendar photo shoot, Godfathers. Posing with a selection of rover parts. If it helped mustard out, then yeah, of course I would. Of course I would. Oh, could be worse in terms of drinking habits. It used to be worse, believe me. In the days when my best friend was Mr. Vodka, it used to be a lot worse. These days it's wonderful. I go to bed happy and relaxed, but I don't fall up the stairs anymore or have total memory lapses. Oh, those were the days. KKC can make a Monday. Well, it looks like Monday's a possibly good show. It is 6 minutes past 1, my lovelies. It is time to say our goodbyes, because I've got a wonderful supper and that I'm looking forward to very much, and I've got I'm really looking forward to making soup again for lunch tomorrow. Haven't had that for ages. And I've got, look what I've got. Cut it in half. Half is in the freezer. Look at that. And half of that is going to be cut into rings. And I'll be having that with my soup tomorrow lunchtime. I'm very excited about that. So, shout outs. All of the regulars, do check out their channels and do subscribe. Excuse me. I apologise. Absolutely no excuse for that. Especially the newer peeps. What else are we going to shout out? Oh yeah, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, you might like to think about joining. Just search for Boaty's World on Facebook, and it's just us and the same sort of thing. But obviously it's a different medium to YouTube, and it's kind of there at different times, and we can do some other stuff there. Yeah, so do please join me there, because I like hanging out on Facebook. And I kind of hang out more in the Boaty's World group now than I do in singles or on my own profile or anywhere else. Why? Because it's got you guys. And some of my singles folk have come across and they're in there, and some of my normal friends, well, relatively normal friends, are in there. And I'm hoping that that's going to become quite a buzzing sort of place. What else to show? I hope you enjoyed tonight's video, which I enjoyed. It was kind of a cheeky one where I just had a little idea of taking the mick. But I hope you enjoyed the ending of it, because I thought that was really quite funny. And there'll be another video out tomorrow, and it'll either be larking about in the yard, or it'll be the do lunch video with Simon. That might actually end up being 2, because there's us actually doing lunch, and there's the car journey, especially the journey back from getting lunch, and that kind of deserves a video all of its own. And there's some larking about in the yard, and I filmed a bit. Oh, and there's some bits of stuff in the caravan that I need to get in. Not much, we didn't do much with the caravan, but we did get a leisure battery on it, and we got the electrics working. I've got the gas sort of half figured out, and I've got the paperwork here now to go through with all of the instructions for everything. I know I'm a man and I don't do instructions, but I'll make an exception, because I don't want to blow myself up by connecting the gas to the wrong thing. So there should be a good 3 or 4 bits of video. Oh, and on Monday, of course, there's a little bit of extra footage because for the first time, I didn't come home because Mustard was ill and he went home early, so we all had to go home early. Simon, I went just after you, really, so you didn't miss anything. It was about 15 minutes after. Mustard just wanted to go home. He wasn't well, poor sod. So instead of going home, I went to the casino. I went to Sheffield, which meant driving over the Snake Pass in the dark, and that was the first. So I did a bit of footage of that, and I did a little bit outside the casino and on the way home because obviously I was sitting next to the guy that won 30 grand in half an hour, and I was talking a little bit about how the blackjack tables work in that particular casino as a sort of little bit of a setup for the blackjack masterclasses that are to come. So there'll be loads of stuff coming up, and there'll be a live stream on Thursday night, unless I get withdrawal symptoms, and do one tomorrow night as well, if I can think of an excuse for doing it. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, I forgot you, didn't I? I'm so sorry. Trace, I forgot your channel, my love. Trace has got a new channel that she's uploading stuff up to. It's a relatively new channel. So check out, what's the channel called? It's the Greenwood, isn't it? So check out Trace's channel as well and subscribe there. I know some of you already have. Sorry, I totally forgot you, my lovely. And I need to check it out because you said you were uploading a video where you were driving back from somewhere or doing something. So I need to check that out. So yeah, absolutely do that. Cheers for the extra stream. You're more than... I do them every night. I really would. I have to stop myself because I know you'll get bored. Good night all. Good night all. Diddly do, diddly do. I'm not reading that out, but you're absolutely right. Great show and chat as usual. Genuinely one of my weekly highlights. Blimey, high praise indeed. Thank you, Trace. Lurpak A380. Thanks, Boaty. Nighty night. Sleep tight. I will be dreaming of you tonight. Oh my God. So, are you a genuine lady of genuinely low standards, or are you some form of parody channel that employs irony in a way that is utterly irresistible and delicious? I want to know what's going on with Mr. Ben 747, Pingu Concorde, Lurpak A380, and now Buccaneer Dreamliner. I want to know what the dynamic is there. I kind of don't want to know. I'm enjoying the mystery of it and the sheer joy of the amusement, but God bless you anyway, whoever you all are. Oh dear. Tonight's vid was funny. Always love a boaty rant. I did start with a rant, didn't I? I was grumpy. I set my alarm to get up super early, and I set the alarm and I woke up and I got up and I went for a wee and I rinsed my mouth out and I enjoyed being awake and feeling virtuous. And then I bloody fell asleep again, didn't I? So I was up a bit later than planned and it was all a bit rushed. And then the main road was fouled up all the way back to the Robin Hood pub. So I had to double back and then do the long way round. There were all those people. I was in a bloody foul mood. No wonder I ranted. The Astra rant the other day was hilarious. Oh, God knows what was going on with that guy. Bloody hell. Uh, oh, I didn't want to stop you. No, Simon, you must have. He wasn't there, was he? You were there. You know what he was like. He clearly wasn't. I mean, he was kind enough to say that it did him good to take his mind off it a bit, but you know, by the time we'd been there as long as we had, he was ready to go home and just get himself tucked up, wasn't he? Bless him. So no, you didn't get in the way of anything at all, and it was probably great that you were there because I think you probably kind of took the pressure off Mustard, feeling that he had to be entertaining or provide content himself. Da, da, da. Oh, right, there's loads more to come on Trace's channel, so do subscribe to that. That's it, my loves. God almighty, it's 1:15. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for allowing me to share this time with you, which I adore. Have a fabulous Wednesday, and I will see you on Thursday night. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay happy. Take joy wherever you can. And thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being you. And thank you all for putting up with me. And see you next time. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.